Hi, I'm Saul Kirsch of Double Alpha Academy, and I'm here today to introduce to you a new feature now available for the Racemaster holster, and that is our optional muzzle support. When using a race holster, some manufacturers and some models provide a muzzle support, while others provide a shorter block holster which retains the gun only on the trigger guard. Our retention mechanism in the Racemaster holster, recently patented in the US, does retain the gun securely and safely, and the muzzle support is not really necessary for the correct function of the holster. But there are added values and added advantages to having a muzzle support. Some customers feel and worry about dislodging the gun with their thigh while doing their walkthrough if they forget to activate the safety lever on the holster. If the holster is unlocked and you were to push up on the muzzle of the gun will come out of the holster, as it is the same motion of actually drawing the gun. The muzzle support can prevent that kind of accidental dislodge of the gun. The other advantage of a muzzle support is that with some gun types, particularly those which have a completely round trigger guard, as in the case with the 1911 or the Para Ordnance or some of the revolver guns, the completely round shape of the trigger guard will allow the gun to rotate a little bit in the holster even when the fit of the slide lock is perfect. The additional support and locking in the front of the gun that the muzzle support will provide can enable you to reach a completely stable and static gun retention in the holster no matter what the shape of the trigger guard is. With a 1911, this also helps us to overcome the problem of the huge variance that's out there in the dimensions of the trigger guards of the 1911s. We try to make those slide locks and those blocks to be as consistent as possible to match the standard 1911 dimensions, but we found that many manufacturers around the world make their 1911s with slightly different dimensions on the trigger guard. This leads to obviously situations where the gun is either a little tight or a little loose in the holster. The use of a muzzle support makes that trigger guard area fit less critical. So to enable the use and incorporation of a muzzle support on the Racemaster holster, what we've recently started doing in our latest production run is we've added this threaded M8 hole on the bottom of the holster. This hole is now added as a standard feature in all of the holsters being manufactured going forward. And you can choose to either use it or just leave it there unused. As you can see in the holster, when the holster is being used, when it's being worn, that hole is practically invisible. The new muzzle support assembly, which is now available, simply screws into the bottom of the holster using that hole which is there. If you want to make sure that this remains locked tight and does not move at all, you can use a drop of Loctite to lock that into position as you assemble it. The nice feature about this design is that using the round pin, it enables us flexibility in repositioning the platform, so you can very easily adjust the length to compensate for different lengths of barrels and the use of compensators on the open guns. The actual tab at the end will slide as well, allowing you to unlock that screw and slide the muzzle support forward and backwards to match the position of your gun. So when you want to incorporate your muzzle support on the holster, the way to adjust it would be to first seat your gun in the holster, and that will allow you to slide in and adjust the position of that muzzle support piece into the muzzle of the gun, securing the position of the pin, and then securing the height of the platform to your needs. And that's all there is to it. Now you have the Racemaster holster assembled with the muzzle support for this standard limited tank folio. Now if you were using an open tank folio, obviously the gun would, the platform would need to slide way down. With an open 5-inch STI, we find that the platform will slide down to within about ½ an inch of the bottom of the rod. If you're going to be using this only for one gun type and you prefer a shorter rod, you can always cut that off to shorten the rod that protrudes from the bottom of the holster. With this assembly in place, holstering the gun remains just as simple as easy as before. The extra support on the bottom will stabilize the gun completely, so you'll have absolutely no movement between the body of the holster and the pistol. And the protection from the bottom that the platform provides assures you that it would be impossible to dislodge the gun upwards if you accidentally pushed it from the bottom while the holster was unlocked. So this is the muzzle support option now available for the Racemaster holster, and how you would attach it to a holster, to one of the new holster bodies, which includes that pre-drilled M8 hole in the bottom of the holster. Now, assuming you have an older Racemaster holster which perhaps does not have that hole, you have a couple of choices. One option is simply to add the hole yourself. It's a simple matter to drill and tap an M8 thread. Any gunsmith will be able to do that for you if you cannot do it yourself. It is perhaps the cheapest option and requires no additional parts. Once you have that hole in the bottom of the holster, you can use the muzzle support assembly as provided. But we do offer a solution which enables customers to fit this muzzle support to a holster which does not have that hole, and that is the muzzle support body adapter. Now, this piece is designed to work with any generation of our Racemaster holsters, but it is a solution for right-hand shooters only. We do not have a version supporting the left-hand bodies. The way this is designed to work, you basically fit the adapter over the bottom of the body of your holster, and the pin from the hanger slides into place through that adapter and into the holster body as it did before. Closing up the little set screw on the back makes everything locked and stable. And basically what you have achieved here is you've added a 10mm aluminum extension to the bottom of your holster body, and that extension obviously includes the thread that you're looking for to assemble your muzzle support. So by using the additional piece provided, this is sold separately as an accessory, you can now add the muzzle support to a holster body which does not have that M8 hole prepared. This part is a little more expensive, so you face either the option of buying the additional part or taking care of drilling and tapping the holster body yourself for the use of the muzzle support assembly. One of the gun types most likely to take advantage of the muzzle support option are the revolver shooters. The Racemaster holster offers insert blocks for the L frame and the N frame Smith & Wesson, and those guns are extremely heavy and do have a very rounded trigger guard profile. This leads to the muzzle support being extremely helpful for those gun types. The distribution of the weight and the support that's provided on the end of the revolver barrel make it a lot more stable a platform when you use the muzzle support. But we found that the muzzle on the revolver is positioned further forward than a normal semi-auto would, and rather than making the platform longer, which doesn't look quite right, we offer the revolver adapter piece. Now this piece can be added either underneath the body adapter as assembled here, or it can be screwed in directly to the holster body if you have that hole available on the holster body. And once the adapter is in position, the muzzle support then assembles further forward, and this will allow you to position the pin for the muzzle in the right distance, in the right location for the position of those revolver barrels. Trigger guard over here, cylinder fits further forward, and the barrel is higher up. With this revolver adapter, the pin will be positioned correctly, and this setup will work fine for up to a 6-inch revolver. So these are the options now available for the muzzle support with the Racemaster holster. This assembly here is the basic muzzle support assembly. It includes the vertical rod, the platform, and the pin. An additional accessory and optional part is this little revolver adapter. And the third part available is the holster body adapter, which basically just prevents the need for actually drilling and tapping a hole in your Racemaster holster body to use the muzzle support.